Hi, motion folk. I'm Sabrina Cheney,
And I'm Penny Niederlander.
and you've tuned in to NoGraph, the motion graphics podcast where motion graphics is all but forbidden as a topic of conversation.
The idea is we're all familiar with the social media peer pressure that there's always a new program to learn,
A new style to master,
endless tutorials and presentations to catch up on.
Slacks and Discords to join.
But we have this little theory that what really makes our work interesting is what people bring to it from outside our normal circles.
So here at NoGraph, we push all that aside and block out the noise and the pressure.
Every week, we'll have a special industry guest on, and we'll just talk hobbies and passions and whatever they love to do when they're not at their desk. And at the end of every episode, we'll turn the mic over to our new friend, and they'll have a couple minutes to tie it all in.
This is a podcast about our industry from the standpoint of a sustainable lifestyle and an ever-deepening well of inspiration.
Thanks for joining, and let's go.
Our guest today is Michael Szalapski. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. It's so good to see you.
Welcome.
Good to see you too.
Yeah, it's been a while. I don't think I've met enough of you in person.
Have we never met in person?
I don't think so. You were on VFX and Chilled at one time.
Yeah.
But I don't think we've been in the same physical space before.
I think that's possibly true.
We're still not, but maybe someday.
It's an illusion.
But Michael, I've seen your bubble around for many years. Did you used to be on like the Mixed Parts website way back in the day?
Oh, it's possible. I've been on CreativeCow.net. I was a Creative Cow leader in the After Effects forum. I'm a legend currently on the Adobe forums, formerly a Adobe community what do they call it now? Community expert, formerly community professional. I learned After Effects like back before YouTube had been invented, so I had to learn After Effects off VHS tapes. Literally, like that's not a joke. I genuinely learned After Effects on Brian Maffitt's Total Training VHS tapes back in 2002 or 2003. So yeah, way before YouTube.
Oh my God.
When I was growing up in my motion design journey, I was like, wasn't a lot out there besides those tapes. You couldn't ask the tapes questions. So I would like lurk on the CreativeCow.net forums, and then once I knew enough After Effects to answer questions, I was like, just all the information I've gotten from these forums over the years, I want to give back to this community. So as soon as I could answer a question, I started answering them, and I started answering more and more and more, and then I just became this like well of knowledge on the internet, to where Andrew Kramer once referred to me as the encyclopedia of After Effects. Like he put his hand on my shoulder, like, this guy, to a whole room of people, is the encyclopedia of After Effects. So
that's incredible.
And then you animorphed into a Creative Cow. That's amazing.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, so that's what it is. I've worked for the funniest job is that I used to work for a special operations unit in the U.S. military. So I'm the only motion designer I know who was issued a flight suit as part of their gear. But I've also done VFX work for Disney. I've done huge stadium graphics. I've done Hollywood feature film work. Like I ended up doing work like all over the place. As many of you may in the audience probably are aware, I also work for Red Giant and Maxon. That's my full-time job, is talking about all the cool Red Giant-y things that I love so very much. I've been a huge fan of Red Giant since way before I worked for them. That's how I got the job, because they knew I loved the tools already. But I also do a lot of freelance work on the side too. So it's just and of course, as of course many of you are aware, especially from my whichever side of my username's on, I'm in a lot of the forums. You'll see me in the After Effects forum, Cinema 4D subreddits and forums pretty much all over the web.
Yeah,
I love the idea that maybe you probably helped me on like Creative Cow like a billion years ago too. I started around when you did. I learned After Effects in like 2001, 2002
yeah, I was working at a church doing a very large church as this what was I, secretary of media, I think it was. Anyway, it was the kind of church that had a media pastor, and I was like his secretary. But what that meant was I did graphic design, and eventually someone was like, hey, can you make some of the stuff move? And I was like, sure. And I learned After Effects,
and then you went right to Hollywood, and
it was terrible, but it worked for that. And then I moved to England and it kind of just honed my skills, and I just kept on getting better and better.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, I've definitely seen your face around. And many people in the audience have as well.
Hello,
And thank
audience.
you for spreading the good word of
No, it's
MoGraph.
like it's just the MoGraph community is just so friendly and open and sharing. That's what I love about it.
Yeah.
Like just it's just from the early days, like it's just been about once you learn a secret, you don't keep it to yourself. You make the project happen for your client, then you immediately turn around and go, and here's a tutorial or whatever. To like that's just kind of the vibe of the motion graphics community, and that's part of how I got to where I am.
Yeah. No, the community has always been so supportive. And that's what I like about it too. But I think you provided a good segue.
Wait, did we lose him?
I don't. Oh, no, he's there.
Oh,
Say
okay.
so for those of you who may not be aware.
Oh.
I think Michael has one bar right now.
Hold on, he'll come back.
I will come back
You're back.
because we're living full time in a camper right now. So we're living the RV full time lifestyle. So our internet has to come from space.
Oh, wild.
Oh.
Yeah. So
So every
my
time a
face,
cloud.
my face is going up to a bunch of satellites flinging around the globe and coming back down and then out to you all. So yeah.
Ooh.
Amazing. That's
It's
awesome.
like you're out there in the International Space Station just beaming your face down to all of us, but instead you're on Earth. Isn't that cool?
Right. Sort of like I'm sort of like Katy Perry, is what you're saying.
You have been called the Katy Perry of MoGraph.
Oh, I hope not. God.
No.
Out of touch, overpaid. These are not things I want to describe me.
Feminism.
Well,
That
here's
one,
an
that
easy way
part's
we
fine.
don't have to get into
Yeah.
that. I could put in my no work talk banner.
Yes.
You're now done with talking about work, but we can
Mhm.
still talk about drones and satellites, which is a song, an actual song by my favorite singer, Jonathan Bree, who talks about drones and satellites in the sky. But anyway, Michael, you had said that when you have a secret, you don't want to keep it in. And
Yes.
to that point, not having to do with work or software, is there a secret that you'd like to share with us on the podcast that you haven't told anybody?
What's this, a new
secret
segment?
that I haven't told anybody? Oh, I don't think I have any secrets. Like I genuinely like I just like to I'm a fairly open book. Like people ask me questions all the time. Like the only secrets I have are ones that the government has mandated I keep from my
Oh, okay.
from my
Yeah.
time working at the special operations unit. Like do I still have a security clearance? I still have a security clearance. I have a security clearance through 2029. So if anyone has any, sorry, no work talk. But if you need someone who's got security clearance to do some work for you,
Ooh.
she's your
I think
guy.
Sabrina, by asking him, you might have done a war crime. You maybe can't ask
No,
him.
it's-
There's a
here's-
secret
here's-
We're
government-
gonna have
here-
our
so-
follow-up
no,
in
here's-
2029.
Here's the secret: is that almost all those people who have security clearances and the secrets that they have to learn are all very boring. It's just that when you put enough of the boring secrets together, you learn things that are much more interesting. But most of the secrets that the government keeps are very boring secrets.
Gotcha. Yeah,
I believe it.
we'd like to keep it that way. Keep it boring, y'all.
Yes,
Where
the
do they-
more boring government is, the better.
That is true. So true. But all right, let's talk about some hobbies and some passions and some fun times. We don't have to talk about the government right now, unless you want. Unless that's your hobby.
The government is not my hobby. Oh, it's so anytime someone says what are your hobbies, it's so like I've lived a very long time on this planet, and there's so many things that I have done and things that I know some people are like, yeah, you look like you're not as old as you are, and that's true. And I'm happy about that. It's because I eat healthy, or used to before I married. No, my husband is very much like a southern person who's like, yes, fat and sugar is all the food groups.
Yeah,
So
I could also co-sign as a Southern person. That is our diet.
yeah, it's just like like gravy. It's just like flour and fat. Like anyway, it's very tasty though, which is great. So I used to eat very healthy. That was actually I would have considered that a hobby of mine. I was very much enjoyed healthy eating and healthy cooking. When I lived by myself, I had no no sugar in the house as far like that is processed sugar. So even like ketchup or Worcestershire sauce, I would find them that did. I would either make it myself or find some brand that didn't use sugar or corn syrup or any of that. Well, except for alcohol. because alcohol is technically not a food, so they don't have to list their ingredients. So, you know, I'm sure
Yeah.
there's some sugar in Maker's Mark, which is my favorite bourbon. I know there's sugar in some of the liqueurs that I would make cocktails with, but
Mhm.
other than cocktail alcohol stuff, I didn't have anything sugary in the house.
So
And it was really
you didn't
interesting.
make your bathroom, no bathtub gin, just bathtub ketchup.
Bathtub ketchup, exactly right. No, I had really good gin actually. Um,
Ooh.
my favorite gin, for those who are curious, is Uncle Val's Restorative Gin. Uncle Val's makes three different gins that I've had: the peppered gin, botanical gin, and the restorative. Restorative is my favorite. I like Uncle Val's all flavors because they don't taste like you're sucking on a Christmas tree. Like gin has to have juniper in it, but their Uncle Val's are not very juniper forward. So I kind of prefer that.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't like to think I'm drinking Pine Sol. Um,
Yeah.
You'll have to like what's something I'm not I'm bad at being in a bar because I'm like I had my 21st birthday and I had never had
oh, me neither.
any alcohol
Yeah,
before. So I walked up
yeah.
and I was like, I don't know what to do. And the bartender's like, I'll give you a cider. And then I had the cider and I was like, this is disgusting. I did
Oh.
not enjoy it. But if I were I don't think I'm more of a rum lady, speaking of sugar. I do
Ooh.
love like a little rum and coke or like a hot
Mhm.
buttered rum is my favorite cocktail
Mm.
in the
So
holidays.
good, so hard to find.
I know. It's easier just to make it yourself, honestly. But so if I'm walking into a bar and it's like I want to try something with gin, what's the go-to cocktail that I could ask?
It depends on kind of bar you're in. Like
Mm,
if you're in a dive bar, you're just better to get a bottled beer than
yeah.
a cocktail. But if you're at an upscale bar, I really like a gin fizz. Proper
Ooh.
gin fizz has egg white in it, but some bars won't have that. I love a cocktail with an egg white in it. So like a whiskey sour or a gin fizz. It has a really nice mouthfeel to it. Some bars will do make them vegan with like aquafaba, or there's
Oh.
some Fee Brothers makes a very nice foaming stuff that is vegan as well. That does not have eggs. People are like scared of eggs or the price of eggs. Um, so there are some non-eggy options, but I like that. A gin fizz is a great drink to have at the beginning of a meal. It's very light, very refreshing, a little bit tangy because of the lemon juice, so it kind of wakes your palate up. I think it's
Mm.
important. Like I don't like to get drunk. I've only been drunk like a couple of times in my
No,
life.
I don't like it either.
No, I just like to have like I don't drink a lot, so when I drink, I like to drink well. So I like to try to match it for the season and for what I'm doing at the time. So like I'll have a nice light, refreshing, zingy cocktail at the beginning of a meal, and then I'll end it with like a sweeter or deeper cocktail, like an old fashioned, or if it's early enough in the evening, an espresso martini, which is not a martini, but that sort of thing.
That always gets me. I usually find myself going like either after work or at the end of the day, and it's like a nice, relaxing thing to do with friends. But yeah, I gravitate toward the espresso martini because it sounds like it tastes amazing, which they do. But then I'm like, if I drink this, I will be up until 4, and I don't want to do that.
If you like rum, I would recommend Dark and Stormy.
Yeah, those are
That's a
good.
that's a good one. That's one that can be made at a bar that's not very upscale either.
Yeah.
But if you really want to try something exciting, you can start looking for some Jamaican rums. Jamaican rums are very
Mm.
funky, and I love a good Jamaican rum. You can kind of ease into it with Plantation, or is there what's their new name, Plantaray, because they decided to be a lot less offensive in their company name. It's gone away
Yay.
from the connotations of Plantation. So Plantaray has some very nice ways to ease yourself into a Jamaican.
Hmm. I would like to try that. And I think we're being beamed up into space and back right now, but we'll be
Yeah,
back.
we're
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm back.
no,
You're
that's
back.
all right.
It'll randomly happen because not are we partly under a tree that has started to started to have leaves, but also there's some clouds. So we're fighting a lot of the
No
elements
worries.
to come to you today. But
Yeah,
yeah,
no
I would
worries.
say is for how this conversation has turned, making cocktails is also part of my part of hobbies. I would list. You should see some of the menus for our Christmas cocktails at the house. My husband and I used to own a Victorian manor, and we would have these like Christmas soirees, I guess is a
Mm,
word to put it.
yeah.
So we would
It's a
have
very
like
nice word.
yeah, we'd have like these cool cocktail menus. So I'm gonna see if I can pull one up, so I could kind of read it off real quick. So you kind of get the idea of some of the stuff. But like some of the things I do, like for a brunch cocktail, once I made a bacon washed bourbon.
Oh.
So for those who are unfamiliar, the term washing is like you put something fatty into the drink and then you get to take all the fat out of it. And the way you do that in this case was I put some bacon and bacon grease into a bourbon and just, shook it around every once in a while, and then when I felt it had infused the flavor enough, put it in the freezer, and the fat freezes, but the bourbon does not. So all
Oh,
the
nice.
fat comes into these like clumps, and then you just strain them out. So you get this like really like delicious, unctuous,
Mm.
bacony flavor in the bourbon, but without any of the greasiness, because all the fat gets frozen out of it.
Oh,
So it worked out
the
really good.
Southern in me recognized the term bacon, and so I would like to try that.
It made a great brunch old fashioned, because an old fashioned is, as you know, bourbon,
Yes.
a little
That
tiny bit
was
of
right where my
orange,
brain went.
a little tiny bit of
Yeah.
orange, and a little bit of sugar and a little bit of bitters. So this was the bacon washed bourbon, and maple syrup for the sugar component, and then a
Yeah.
little bit of orange, and yeah, it was great. So for example, a couple of years back, our cocktail menu had a naughty side and a nice side. The nice side was mocktails, and the naughty side was cocktails. I had I'm Dreaming of a White Russian, which was a candy cane vodka, cold brew coffee liqueur, and heavy cream. A nice little
God
pepperminty take on a
damn.
White Russian. Flip the Halls is a whiskey flip, but with a cinnamon twist, which is a whole egg and not just the egg white whiskey. Some cinnamon infused in there and some amaretto. I had the Rosemary Did You Know, which was basically an old fashioned bourbon, maple syrup, orange bitters, Angostura bitters, and some smoked rosemary. And then Green Sleeves was using a Cosalero, which is a liqueur that's from Colombia. That's very green in color. Some vodka, pineapple, simple syrup, lime, and sage. You could substitute the Cosalero
Sage.
yeah, sage is really good in it.
Yeah.
You can sub the Cosalera for, you could use green chartreuse or any kind of really herbal liqueur. And then I had a Christmas in July, which was either tequila or Sprite, and then a strawberry agave lime. That one was between the naughty and nice. You could have it as a cocktail or as a mocktail. And then on the nice side for the mocktails, I'll have a blueberry Christmas, which is blueberry juice, a lavender balsamic syrup, and lemon. Baby, it's cold outsider, which was apple cider, non-alcoholic. Cinnamon, cloves, and allspice. Ginger bells, which was pineapple, lemon syrup that I made. Maple syrup, bitters, and club soda. And it's a marshmallow world with just hot chocolate with marshmallows in it.
None of these are phoned in. Not one of these is a phoned in thing. Oh
No.
my god.
And you should see the menu. Like not to get into work talk, but I used some.
Oh, the internet blocked you.
Yeah. Way to censor a good time, internet. No, I want to hear about it.
Yeah, I want to try these drinks.
Oh my gosh. They all sounded really good. I would be upset because I couldn't try them all.
I know. We'd have to like order one of each and just pass it as a sip.
Yeah,
and then all get
totally.
COVID.
All right, there we go.
Oh,
you know what we
back.
should do is we should do like a big clap, so it's easy for you to find the spike in the audio when we need to cut
and
back
then
in.
I'll clip it. It's all good.
We're real.
But anyway,
sorry, it's fine.
As I was trying to say, on the menu itself, I actually had fonts with gorgeous ligatures, and I made sure that every word had like unique letter forms and stuff. Yeah, it's how I do. But yeah, my husband and I, we had a manor home that was built in the 1860s, probably. The paperwork back then was not very precise, and there had been a couple other buildings on the property. And I mean, at the time, there was still like this building was still there and some of the barns and stuff, because it had been a working farm a long time ago.
Wow.
But part of the house had been apparently used as on the Underground Railroad. At least that's what we were told. There was certainly a hidden room there that looked like it could have been used for that, but we're unsure. The timing of that.
Did you utilize the hidden room?
Just storage. It wasn't big enough. Like it was just enough to tuck someone in for them to hide for a little bit. Like it wasn't like a fancy room you could like make a little speakeasy in, because I would have if I could have.
Oh yeah, 100%. I believe it.
Oh, you would have loved the house that I grew up in until I was 6 had a speakeasy bar behind a bookshelf.
See, would love that. I would love to have a speakeasy type bar or a tiki bar. in a spot like that. I love tiki because the whole concept of tiki is an escape, and having a secret room with a tiki bar in it is like perfect for the tiki vibe.
A speakeasy, a tiki. No, forget it.
Yeah,
Tiki
tiki
easy
easy.
would
There
be
was something
amazing.
there. A speaky tiki easy.
Like both of those have the idea of you're getting away from it all for a little taste of something unique. And like
Yeah.
in Nashville, like my favorite bar in Nashville is the Patterson House, which is a speakeasy. You walk in, like there's not really like a sign. You just walk into this like nondescript building, and there's like a curtain, and it looks like you're in a library.
Yeah.
But they have their cocktails are
New York has just a handful of those, but the thing is, the whole city knows about them.
Yeah.
Therefore, it's not as magical anymore because everybody's clamoring to get into the speakeasies, but they do exist. They're there.
New York, my brother owns some bars in Brooklyn, and so like over the years, he's taken me to some interesting places that he's like known about, and I didn't get so much of like a speakeasy vibe as in like, well, here was a space that was available, and you just got to cut through this other restaurant's kitchen to get to it. Like, it's not that
Yeah.
it's like a hidden as much as it's like
Yeah.
it's an
New
old
York's
city
got a
that's
lot of
just
that kind of crap. Yeah.
overlapping. Yeah.
I've been to a bar that was above a Five Guys. I've been to a bar that was inside of a separate hot dog restaurant, and I've been to one that was kind of like in some random alleyway. And I think those are like at least three. I don't even know if the Five Guys one counts as a speakeasy. They're just like splitting space between the first floor and the second floor. But you gotta know. You gotta be in the know. Be like,
Yeah.
no, you have to go inside the Five Guys and then go up the stairs. But that's
You
always
better
fun.
order right, or they won't let you up.
Right. Yeah.
Extra
See,
fries.
when I'm making drinks, I approach it the same way as when I'm cooking. It's like you got to find the right ingredients for stuff, and like find a good way to mix them together. Like when I was by myself and I was cooking, I would go to Publix because they're the best, and whatever happened to be on sale would tend to be what I would get. Just on the outside of the store where all the non-processed stuff is. Have you noticed that at grocery
Mhm.
stores, the outside loop is where the non-processed stuff is? That's usually
Yeah.
where I would shop. And then the aisles are where everything's processed. So I would kind of just walk around and buy some stuff, and then figure out what menu to make later. And that practice came in handy when this is like this conflagration of things happened. My mom at the time had some health things that made it so she had a fairly limited diet. So she had lists each day of what she could have on that day. And then my uncle wouldn't eat vegetables, and like so I had all these people come together at this one time, and I had to cook for my mom's very specific list, and then for all these different people who had all these requirements, and just trying to like spin up a meal that would like cover
Yeah.
everyone's bases and still be healthy was, sans sugar and all that other stuff was like it's a fun challenge, and taking limited set of ingredients. Like, it felt like a cooking show because you had a limited set of ingredients on my mom's list, plus what I would be willing to purchase, plus all these
Yeah.
other people's requirements, and like to build like a menu, like it's just fun. It's just a lot of fun to kind
Yeah.
of do
I
that kind of stuff.
gotta
It's the
say,
same.
like, when you utilize the oven just to do something as simple as like roasting vegetables, like just that alone, you could pull that into a meal if you just add it with some kind of like if you make it with quinoa or make it with rice or something on the side, you have your vegetable and you have your grain or whatever. And like that's been my lunch for a long time is just okay, what am I going to roast? And then I have that plus something. And it's so easy and it tastes so good. Like you don't even
roasted
have to
vegetables
do a
taste
lot.
so Roasted vegetables are so good. I know like a lot of folks who like grew up hating vegetables because they grew up with like canned crap.
Or
Like,
steamed. Like I grew up with
oh,
steamed broccoli. Sorry, my mom listens to this, but I remember I dip my steamed broccoli in like Parmesan cheese, and that was. But also, I was really picky, so to be fair to my mom, I did not make her job easy because I was like, no, I don't know what that is. I'm not gonna eat it. It didn't come until
our
later,
our
but
kids our kids aren't very picky. We're which
oh,
I don't
you're
know if
so
that's
lucky.
I don't know if it's luck. I think it's just because we're like, here's the food you're eating.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably. Yeah.
Like we did not give them a choice a lot of the time.
Hmm.
That's how it was when I grew up. Like you ate the food you were served, and so I grew up just whatever happened to be served is what I would eat. Like I didn't have the opportunity to have an opinion,
Right.
but because of that, like I grew up eating a lot of different things, and so now like if I'm at a restaurant and I see something on the menu that I don't know what it is, that's usually what I'm going to order just so I can see what it is. I'm just like I'm more culinarily explorative. I think in large part because of it.
What's the most interesting cuisine you've had before in your life?
I was in Costa Rica in the rainforest. I was on a volunteer mission sort of thing. We were helping to paint and build this there was a school up in this little village that we were like helping to fix up that had fallen into disrepair, and the people in the village who had built us bathrooms, by the way, because they didn't have, anyway, it doesn't matter.
Oh wow.
They made this lunch for us, and to this day I do not know what the meat was that was in what I ate. And when I say I don't know if it was bird, four-legged creature, or fish. So I would say that's
Could
the
have
most
been anything.
interesting, in as much as I have no idea what it was.
What if it was
Yeah.
like snake or something?
No, I mean, I've eaten
Sea
snake.
snake.
I've eaten snake before. I don't care.
No, like I'm not saying that that'd be a problem. I'm just like maybe it was not even something with legs.
Yeah.
You know,
Maybe it was some other
it
creature. But no, I'd if I
It
were given the
probably
opportunity, I'd try it.
probably was a lizard. Well, but with this whole RV lifestyle, we don't like the cold, so we tend to spend even when we owned the big manor home, we still would go to Florida for the winter when we could, with our camper. So that's kind of how we eased into the camper life. So we'd go to Florida for the winter, and yeah, we had gator, which is just a very big lizard.
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
I think it's
Yeah.
great when you can eat, like, if you can eat an apex predator.
It's a real big FU to nature.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Got him.
as if what we've done to the atmosphere
I
and
know, right?
paving the entire, isn't enough. Screw you, nature. Not only are we doing that, we're going to eat you.
Yeah, we're gonna snack.
Gator bites. Take that.
Oh, man.
Previously dinosaurs, now an appetizer.
What is it? Yeah, sharks have been around longer than trees, but we'll eat it.
Shark fin soup.
Yeah, that's the no-no, right? You're not. It's like things like shark fin soup and things like turtle soup. That's like, don't do that.
Well, but some sharks I think are okay. Like you
There
don't
are some
wanna
sharks
get-
that are okay, yes.
Yeah, it's
Oh.
not.
And there are some
The shark
turtles that
fin
are
soup
okay.
is a problem because they just cut the fin off and they throw the shark away.
Yeah,
See,
yeah.
that's my problem. Like, so again, when I lived by myself, I would get my meat at the farmers market or the downtown market in Clarksville, Tennessee, where like you could talk to the farmers, you could go visit their farm, you could see the conditions the animals are raised in, and they would a lot of the time use a lot of the animals. Like people are like, "Ew, you eat cow tongue?" Yeah. What else are they gonna do with the tongue? Like, use every part of the animal. Like, if the
Yeah.
poor thing has to die, use it all. Like, I'm a huge fan of all that kind of stuff. Like, make good use of it. The native peoples who were in this continent long before we showed up had this kind of oneness with nature thing that a lot of suburban moms aspire to now. But like, it's a good thing that all of us should be aspiring to. Like, live with nature, and if you have to take an animal's life, use all of it. Like, make the use out of it. I think that's I think that's a great way to live. So yes, I will eat all parts of the animal is what I'm saying.
Yeah. I think I saw somewhere that made me really think twice about it was with fish. It's like Americans don't like their fish to look like fish. Like the fact that we're always, if you're at the store, it'll be a fillet, but never like the whole,
face.
nobody's ordering the fish with the face on it.
Oh, the cheek is the best part.
The
You
cheek
get
is the
whole-
best part
You get the
of
whole
many
fish.
animals. Yeah, the
Many
pigs.
animals.
Pig's cheek is also supposed to be the best part, but a lot of fish, right? Like that little area right there is really good.
Little
I
divot
will
there,
say,
yeah.
I will say again. Speaking of our kids, again, I'm very proud of them. They also like eating fish that look like fish. They specifically asked for one time we went to a Mexican restaurant. They wanted the whole fish. That one where they cut it up and then season it and then fry the whole fish. They both wanted it. They both ordered it. I should say they were at the time 5 and 6, and they ate the whole thing.
Yeah.
Which is like-
they're now
It's
6 and
awesome
7.
that they're adventurous eaters and they don't have any. I imagine that if anyone has to take care of them or whatever, that then they become high maintenance in that way. What do you feel like? A nice sashimi. Oh,
My
God,
7
can we just get some chicken nuggets?
my 7-year-old would 100% do that. Yeah. So would it.
Great.
Like they want their applesauce, but with cinnamon sprinkled on it.
Or cardamom if you have it.
We do have it, and they do get it with that.
Oh my God, I love it. Oh, your kids.
Like
are
when
heroes.
when I make oatmeal for them, it's got like apple. Yeah.
I lost you, Michael. Yeah. Like we're gonna do anything with that. It's just clapping.
Yeah, just in case. I did do
Okay.
the clap.
He's coming back. The cloud is passing.
Mm-hmm.
He's cutting the tree down that's blocking the signal. And he's going to eat all parts of the tree.
All parts of the tree. No, I don't know where you cut out, but when I make the kids oatmeal, like it's apple slices, but also cinnamon, nutmeg, cardamom, ginger, and maybe if I'm feeling frisky, a little bit of cloves.
Oh my god. I'm not even kidding. I'll eat oatmeal every day, and I've never done oatmeal that extra. But that sounds amazing.
It's just apples with apple pie spices in it. It's great.
Yeah.
And a little bit of maple syrup to sweeten it if you want to have kind of more stick with the tree theme.
Yeah. My standard is just like peanut butter and cinnamon and honey, and that's it.
Speaking of being adventurous, so when I was, I should say, part of my reason I'm healthy is because of my upbringing. My mom was also very much give the kids healthy things. So like we didn't have sugar in the house when I was growing up either. So for candy, the only candy-ish candy we would really have was like maple sugar candy, because it's just you take the maple syrup, boil it down, crystallize it. You know, it's fairly unprocessed.
Ooh.
But I'd never had maple sugar cotton candy before. When we were in Florida, one of our neighbors, their son came, and they live in Vermont or Connecticut or somewhere up there where the maple flows, and he brought a container of maple cotton candy, and oh my gosh, so good.
That sounds incredible.
So good. Doesn't travel well, but like apparently, like she's like, you have to eat this like now. So
yeah,
it was so. Which I wasn't complaining, because I will eat this whole tub by myself.
To this day, I remember like growing up in Michigan, like it was maple syrup was a big thing, and like we'd go to the countryside or wherever they would milk the trees. I don't really understand how it works, but they would do the thing where you'd make little divots in the snow in winter and then pour it, and then it would harden, and then you'd eat it.
So cool.
So freaking good.
Tap, I think, is the term. You tap the trees. Like
no, you milk a tree. I'm pretty sure you milk a tree.
We don't have anyway, possibly.
Yeah.
So.
Oh man, this is a culinary episode. I love this.
I was about to say, like, we were like a half hour into this, and it's all been food and drink. And
I'm not mad about it. I'm assembling a whole menu as we speak. Like, I'm gonna have to hunt down
It's great.
all these things.
Yeah,
it's really good.
Well, you've already like ordered like gin online and.
Oh yeah. No, I've got my Wegmans order ready.
Fun gin, fun rum. And everyone's like, Maker's Mark is his favorite bourbon. Yes, it's my favorite bourbon because it's approachable. People are like, it's approachable. Like bourbon snobs like, it's approachable. Yeah. What's wrong with being approachable? It means people like it. Like that means it's enjoyable. The word approachable is code for people like it. And what's wrong with liking something that's likable? I like it because it's cheap, but also it's thoughtful. Like, I don't know if you heard the story about Maker's Mark. Like, so what happened was the kid grew up in a bourbon family. He lived in Bardstown, Kentucky. Like, everyone makes bourbons there. And he's like, our family's bourbon recipe is just awful. He literally like tore up the family's bourbon recipe, tossed it out, and said, we're going to start this over. And his wife started baking. You're like, what? What does that have to do with anything? Well, the base of any bourbon is grain. Bourbon, whiskey, the base of it is grain. And they were like, let's find a grain combo that has just a really good flavor to it. She baked over 100 different loaves of bread of different grain combos, trying to find the thing that had the best flavor combination. And when they settled on one, that grain mix was what went into the mash to make the bourbon. Like that sort of like idea of let's start from the very beginning and find what tastes great is the kind of in the DNA of Maker's Mark. And that's why they're my favorite bourbon. But also, same lady is the one that came up with the whole red wax for the bottle top thing, and she is a genius. For those of you who are not familiar, Maker's Mark has this really cool hand dipped in red wax. Every bottle is unique. It's got red wax just dripping down it, and it looks amazing.
Oh, it is wax. I guess I thought it was plastic. It's wax. That's awesome.
It's red sealing wax.
I saw recently some video about like sometimes they purposefully dunk it like a lot more.
Every employee has a certain number of extra large dunks that they're allowed to do in a time, and so every once in a while they'll do an extra dunk, and yeah, people do collect them. Wow. Sometimes it's like almost the whole bottle is covered in wax. Yeah,
just slam dunk that thing.
It is called a slam dunk. You did that's genuine. It's genuinely what it's called.
Oh my god! Well, yeah, cheap and approachable. Was it cheap and friendly or something? I was like,
it's relatively inexpensive, but with really good flavor. And so a lot of bourbon snobs don't like it for that reason. But I'm like, it tastes great, and I don't have to break the bank to get it. Like, why is that? Why would that not be my favorite?
Mm-hmm.
That's like, have you ever seen how many videos there are on YouTube about, is Buffalo Trace really any good? Because it's like the most sold out bourbon. Because it's like, it's one of those, it's like Maker's Mark a little bit. It's really approachable. It's easy to drink. It tastes good. But like, there was a whole series for years of like, oh, this one bourbon that you don't know about is so, or that, you've heard about is actually really good. And then it was a backlash against it. It's all just for clicks. But
Yeah.
it's like, they're good. They're good bourbon.
Oh, there's a bourbon called Rebel Yell or something like that. I think again they're changing their name for the troublesome history, but it's like
Yeah.
one of the cheapest ones I've ever had. That was actually highly recommendable, like very drinkable, very mixable. It's Rebel something or other. I forget what it was called, but I was like, oh. So speaking of Maker's 46 is the ingredient in the best cocktail I've ever made, and I have no idea what the recipe was. I was just faffing about. I'd gotten some peaches at the farmer's market. They were in season. I had some Maker's 46, and I did something with the peaches. I don't remember what it was. I was just like fussing around in the kitchen, made it la la la. Went on, did my business, took a sip, and was like, "Oh my gosh, this thing's amazing!" Crap, what did I do? Best bourbon, best cocktail I ever made. Maker's 46 and peaches is all I remember about what I put in it. So
maybe you just soaked and left for a long time and came back later.
But like even the camper, I do fun stuff like that. Like I took some dried apricots that I got at not Trader Joe's, at TJ Maxx, because that's a pro tip, by the way. If you have a TJ Maxx near you, their food section, they will occasionally have some really nice gourmet healthy stuff, like dried apricots that don't have sulfur in them or any other ingredients, and it's just the apricots. And anyway, so I got that and just soaked some vodka in it for a bit, and then with a bit of what did I put in it? Blood orange liqueur and a black bitters for I forget what company it came from. I got them in Seattle at the Pike's Place Market. There's a place there that has some nice bitters. It's called Black Bitters, I think. It's got black tea, blackberry, black hawthorn, pretty much any sort of herb that had the word black in it. They put in these bitters. It's very dark, and so it was this apricot infused vodka, dried apricot infused vodka, very different flavor profile. Blood orange liqueur and these black bitters. It was like fantastic. I had that last night. It's very good. But anyway, yes.
In a different time, you'd just be a wizard making potions.
I would still
an apothecary. I actually like the idea that he would make all these drinks and sell them as like health elixirs.
Yeah.
Sorry, Michael, you're back.
Sorry, I am back. So speaking of health elixirs, I don't want to take I don't want to take this whole time talking about drinks and food, but in one of the old buildings that had been part of our property before, was currently part of a farm. When we had the manor, they gave us permission to go in the old buildings and look around. There was this bottle of this like, it was a weird looking bottle, and it had like this old label on it. And we looked it up. It was this Dr. something or other's wine for women. It was like this. The marketing on it was ridiculous. It was this sort of medicinal stuff with just enough alcohol to preserve the herbs, but not enough to get you drunk. Total lie. And like it was all this marketing stuff that was about how it's to help women who are in their hysteria and whatever, all this kind of crazy stuff. Oh, it's so amazing. Like the stuff that they were like, those crazy women.
Yeah.
But I mean, basically what it amounted to do was you're not allowed to buy alcohol, but you could buy this medicine stuff, and it was basically just vodka, basically, with herbs in it. I feel
like that was the answer to hysteria in many ways for many decades before people actually started to take women's issues and health seriously. Was like, oh, you're feeling wild and crazy and out of control? We'll just give you drugs or like alcohol or something.
Or and if you're low energy, cocaine.
Yeah, I know. Like, what is that about?
I mean, I'm sure both of you are very aware of this, so I'm not going to try to explain it to you. But to listeners who are unaware, some of the early how do I say this delicately? Devices for when you needed to take care of yourself and didn't have a man present. Is that a good way to put?
Yeah.
Something that's this shaped but larger. Some of the earliest of those were medical devices, because one way they took care of women's hysteria, and huge quotes for this, was stimulating their lady area. Basically, doctors' jobs was
they just did not know what to do with women's emotions at all. So they're
did you ever see the movie Road to Wellville?
You want alcohol, you want Like they were throwing the whole kit and caboodle instead of just like, what if I just listened?
Right? Just
The
listen.
lengths that people will go to
Oh,
to
and
just
it
avoid
bugs me
having to
today.
listen.
So much of our medical stuff today is based on studies done on only men, and they're
Yeah.
doing stuff that is not helping women because they are basing it on like the amount of this that happens or the way this device is built. It's all built about men because that's all they've been studying all this time. Oh, it just irks me.
Me too.
So mad.
I know, such a strange part of history. Penny, were you gonna mention something?
Oh, did you ever see the movie Road to Wellville?
No.
From like the 90s. It's about the Kellogg,
Oh,
that
I know
crazy
about
guy.
that. I know about the Kellogg's
And
thing.
I know about the Kellogg guy.
Yeah, well, and there's like a character who's a doctor. It's
Yeah.
played by O'Brien, the guy who plays O'Brien on Star Trek Next Gen, Cole Meany or something. I forgot his name. And he is totally doing stuff with the lady patients, and they're like, "It's just treatment." It's wild movie.
I know. Wow. No, I
Yeah.
have never heard of this movie.
Oh well, there. It's one for the reading list.
Yeah, I'll add it to my Letterboxd watch list.
I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait for them to adapt the movie into a book because
I think
the book is always
I
better.
think it's already from a book.
I do
Wait,
enjoy reading. Speaking of
yeah,
hobbies,
Let's transition into books. What are you reading?
I
and what-
love reading. Oh my gosh, reading is my favorite thing because when I was a kid, again, healthy lifestyle, we did not have TV. Like we had a television set, but the receiver was pulled out of it, like physically by my mother.
Oh wow.
So all they could do was watch educational tapes on it. So for me, to quote The Princess Bride, this was TV. Like reading was movies for me. So I just did like so much reading.
Wow, can I pluck the receiver out of my phone somehow and only have it be for like two functions?
You can set your phone to only allow you to do things for certain. If you have an iPhone, I know I'm sure Androids have similar things, but you can actually limit your own self on there. You can have a set a timer for how long you're allowed to be on Reddit for a day, for example. Highly recommendable, by the way. What was I saying? I was going somewhere with that.
Yeah, I was interrupting with the TV. You had the educational tapes and
group
books.
reading, right? Mm-hmm. So I had this joke about like, because everyone always says the book's better than the movie, like always and forever. So that's what I think. So I should hang on. Let me pause again. I am ADHD. Did not realize that until just a couple of years ago when my husband told me I was and made me go to a psychiatrist, and they said, "Yep, indeed you are." Because like when I grew up, like I never got diagnosed in school because I was homeschooled. So my mom was just such a good teacher. Like I grew up getting like every standardized test I took, I was in the 99th percentile. I got, full scholarship to college.
Matched your energy. Yeah. Wow.
She just knew how to handle kids with ADHD because I can almost guarantee my youngest brother, who's no longer with us, he died of cancer a couple of years back, but I can almost guarantee that he was ADHD. I distinctly remember my mom going, "You need to go outside, run around the house 5 times yelling, and then come back in." So he would go outside, go 5 times around the house, and he'd come back in. He would get back to work. Like she worked.
Yeah,
with
she
us.
had the disability accommodation that you would not have gotten in public school, like bar none. Nobody's telling a kid like, "Get out of here and come back."
Go run around the building, right?
If anything, they're trying to cut recess, so there's stuff like that going on too. You know what I mean? Like they make it so difficult for kids who are just like really active, and it's a strength, by the way. I can recommend a podcast to you later that I was listening to today about like the history of ADHD, and it's specific to women and kind of figuring that out too, connecting to the previous conversation about women's health. But to your point, tell us more. So you were able to focus with reading though, because I feel like that would be difficult, wouldn't it?
So you'd think so, but one of the other hallmarks of ADHD in many people is the ability to hyperfocus. And so with my mother's direction, I just learned to put my focus into the reading. And so when I was reading, like my brain was building the worlds that all these characters were inhabiting and like all this other stuff. And I was making all these connections. So my brain, she had taught me, like, she didn't know I was ADHD either. She just was, I don't know. She's just an amazing woman. And so she just helped me get to where I would, when I pulled out a book, all my attention and focus was on that book. Like I would be in the book for hours and hours and hours. And so I just grew up reading. But what was I going to say about that? Oh, but so I also went to a Christian college. I went to the university I went to was Evangel University. It's owned by the Assemblies of God, which is a Pentecostal. It's a regular liberal arts college. It just happens to be owned by them. So you have to sign some extra, like you have some extra rules in your student handbook that you have to agree to before you go.
Wow.
But all that to say was I had built up this whole joke that I liked to tell about, because everyone always says books better than the movie. And so I would try to work a conversation if I could around to that topic. And then I'd say, well, there's one movie that was better than the book. And then let it sit for a second until someone's curiosity got better and they would ask me, well, what movie do you think was better than the book? And I would say, The Passion of the Christ. Because especially in this conservative Christian context, this movie about the life and death of Jesus, and then implying that this movie is better than the Bible was obviously horrifying. But, in the context of like, oh, that's funny, whatever. So I had masterfully worked this conversation around to where this would happen, drop this little bombshell, and like I'd been planning this for like a week, and I dropped my line, and then instead of people appreciating that joke, right at the moment when people get what I was just said and are about to start laughing, this somewhat ditzy individual went like, there was a book. Ruined my punchline by being much funnier than me.
Yeah. That's great.
But no, because for me, books are better than the movie. In as much as you get immersed in it more, your brain does more of the work. You fill it in with much more richly than a movie ever could. It's like in Calvin and Hobbes, the spaghetti incident that gets referred to in a couple different times throughout the run of the comic strip. There's this like the spaghetti incident gets referred to in the context of various different things, and your brain fills in what this incident could be so much, like it builds it up into something that could never be matched by any actual comic panel. And it's the same thing with a book. Like the world your brain builds as you learn to read is going to be so much more rich and full than anything a movie could ever do, no matter how hard they try. But there are some movies that do a good job with it, like Lord of the Rings. Like I don't think you could have adapted that book into a movie any better than they did. Like you feel the richness, but it's just because everyone involved loved the source material so much. Like they were hand making chainmail armor. Like they were deeply passionate about the project.
Yeah, and they had the craft, they had the budget, they had the actors
time. They had the time.
Yeah, they had the time.
Like the amount of time they spent on that screenplay, just on the screenplay. Then they gave every department time to make great music, to make great costumes, to make great sets, to make great visual effects. And they were able to spend all this time and effort to design it into this. They're getting dangerously close talking about visual effects, dangerously close to talking about work. But they gave everyone the time to get it done. I know.
Yeah.
That's why another passion of mine is watching movies. That is in my top 3. I won't ever say what my favorite movie is because I can't really pick one. But Lord of the Rings is in my top 3. I count that all as just one movie going experience.
Yeah.
Nobody's watching just one of them.
No, why? You can't, like, it's why.
Right?
So, all 3 of them are great.
The third,
yeah. I only watch Two Towers. That's it.
Arguably the best of the 3, but yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One could argue. That's a chapter of one lot bigger thing. I'm with you on that one.
I would say my other top 3 movies. I would say Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse has got to be in there because I went to the movie theater and paid movie theater prices to watch that at least 5 times. Like I don't even remember if it was 5 or 6 at this point, but like it was so great. I went to that many times. And then my other movie.
We'll say it together. 1, 2, 3. Twister.
The Thin Man.
Oh fuck.
I couldn't figure out what we were doing.
Twister's really good.
It's actually my favorite movie, but I knew that it wouldn't be anyone else's favorite movie.
One of my coworkers worked on Twister. Stu Mashowitz, who's a Red Giant Maxon person. He did some of the visual effects on Twister. He did the house that rolls into the road and they drive through it. That was his shot.
That was still with Digital Domain, right? The Rebel Mac unit or whatever. Or...
Oh, I just remember him being on the show talking about it. I don't remember what company he was working for at the time. No, it's the Thin Man is in my top 3. It's a movie from the 1930s. It's an early talkie. It's a whodunit murder mystery. People talk about like the MASH movie being like one of the first things to have overlapping dialogue, but they had that back in the 1930s. It was fast talking, and I love it for a number of reasons. It's a great murder mystery. Like you don't know who done it. It's one of the early ones where they get all those suspects in a room. Like there's that, but the dialogue is funny. It's a great murder mystery, but also like the main character detective. Again, this is 1930s. Detectives were not looked at as this like great intellectual stars. Like this is before Miss Marple and all that stuff. Like detectives were seen as kind of low lifes, like gumshoe. Like that's why they're called gumshoes. Like they're looked down upon. But he ends up marrying this like rich lady. So he is like low dregs of society, but he's got this rich lady he's married to, and it's kind of like they have this amazing dynamic between them. Like he just loves her and she just loves him. Like neither one care. She doesn't care that he was a detective. He doesn't care that she's rich. Like they just love each other so much. And they have this like little banter between each other. And it's just so lovely. So like they're lovely. Like she walks in on him with a woman on his lap, like embracing him, but she doesn't even have like a shred of jealousy about it. She just walks in very aware that he doesn't have any romantic feelings towards this woman, and she just makes a little funny face at him and like goes out. Like they just love each other and trust each other so much. There's no like they don't have any drama between them. They just love each other, and like I love that. Like a couple that
That's
just
so ahead of its time.
trusts,
Yeah.
right? And like there's just so many, and there's got little jokes in it that you don't get the first time you watch it. Like they're walking. It's just a scene where they're walking and talking. Most movies, especially at the time, they would just have that happening, but they're walking their dog. Like and you don't notice it when you first watch it, but they're walking and talking, and you see his arm is a forward, then it goes back behind him, and then they stop walking, keep talking, then his arm goes back forward. They're walking in a city, and this dog is stopping at the street lamps to pee and sniff and all this stuff, and it's just because the dog isn't there. Like the shot is just a here-up shot. But they just have that detail of him, and then his arm goes behind, then they stop. Then it goes forward, and they keep walking, start walking again. Like just little details like that. Like this movie is full of that kind of stuff, and there's fun, like just funny jokes. It's highly recommend. So if you can find The Thin Man anywhere, highly recommend watching it. It's set at Christmas time, but it's not a Christmas movie. Like it's so great. Highly recommend. It's funny. It's great. In my top three, I would say.
I've never heard of it, but that
there were
like
5 movies. There's like The Shadow of the Thin Man, the blah blah the Thin Man. There were sequels because Hollywood is nothing if not sequel happy. But the first one is one I would say why it's the greatest and best.
Okay.
Did they have a portly man?
Well, it's really funny because all the movies are called something of the Thin Man or whatever, but the Thin Man from the original, before they planned to make sequels, I assume, is about the guy who was murdered. Like he was a thin man.
Oh, not the main character. Okay.
Not the main character. The detective is a normal-sized person, although by current American standards, quite thin. Because we hadn't quite gotten our processed sugar-heavy diet back in the 1930s. We were on our way. We hadn't quite gotten there yet.
Yeah.
Also, a lovely study in the Mid-Atlantic accent throughout that movie as well.
Oh, that's fun. Do you find you're a movie person? Like you love.
I love movies, but I'm not a movie person. I'm not a traditional movie person. Like I haven't seen Shawshank Redemption or The Green Mile. Like I've missed a lot of or The Abyss. Like I've missed so many classic movies. And a large part of that is because again, not having TV growing up, like we didn't go to the movie theater. We didn't watch TV or movies as a kid. Like most of my growing up was books. I just loved movies. Like I occasionally get to see one and I just loved it so much. So I've missed a lot of the classics, but I still love movies anyway.
Well, it's kind of nice because you could discover them now. Like sometimes
I'm still looking forward to Shawshank. I'm still looking forward to Shawshank. I know it's great.
Yeah.
I've been told so many times.
Yeah.
I think if you've been really media literate for most of your life, then you kind of pick up on things and you're like, yeah, I've basically seen this before. But if you're coming to it later and you haven't been exposed to stuff yet, then it's like, I've never seen that, you get to enjoy it more than like, oh, they're ripping off of blah, 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 and like things.
I mean,
when you've watched everything, then you're like, okay, I've watched this movie before. Things get formulaic. It's hard to find something actually new.
It's funny when you watch a movie with someone, like you show someone a movie that you love. Like this happens with like my wife a lot, and be like, yeah, I love this movie. And then we see it and she's like, not into it because she didn't have the context and the like nostalgia of like seeing it when it was new, but also like occasionally you watch a movie with someone and I love it when they're like, well, I mean, I've just seen that a million times before. And you're like, but this is the first time.
Yeah.
I know you've seen that before, but this was, they invented this.
Like Citizen Kane. You're like,
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
fine.
so formulaic, just like everything else.
Mhm.
Like every other movie. So I've talked about my favorite movies. I don't want to leave books in the dust. I should talk about some of my favorite books as well. The Bible is probably my top. That's my favorite book of all time, as is for many other folks as well. I also like Good Omens as sort of a flip side to that. For those who are unfamiliar, Good Omens is kind of Bible tangential. One might say fanfic, but with like it sort of has a very how do I say it, like irreverent view of the Bible, but at the same time it's still respectful of it at the same weirdly. So Good Omens is got to be my top list of books. A lot of C.S. Lewis literature as well. I love C.S. Lewis. The Screwtape Letters, Chronicles of Narnia are amazing. Read in published order, not in any sort of stupid chronological order bullcrap. I will fight on that hill because the sixth book is set before any of the other books happen, but it's payoff of so much stuff that happens earlier. And the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe is a perfect intro to the world, and it was the first book published. So I will physically fight on this one. That you read them in the published order, not
People are
the
nuts
chronological
about
order.
this. I've recently learned
It matters
that
so much.
This is a thing in Discworld. Are you
I've heard
aware
of Discworld. I have not. I know you'd think I would have read it since one of my favorite books is Good Omens, but no, I have not. I haven't yet gotten to Discworld.
Well, if you want a nice, clean 36 book series or whatever the hell it is. No, but the same thing that people tell you to read the like first two out of order, and it's like it's a serious, contentious Reddit argument, and it's like, but if you read them at the time, they would have come out at like I like what you're saying is what I'm saying. I'm on your side.
With the Chronicles of Narnia, it matters so much because the sixth book is so like it's so deep and in depth, and like first of all, it's not entertaining unless you've read the other ones, in which case it's wildly gripping.
Yeah. Was that what was the title of that one?
Magician's Nephew.
I think I was trying to.
Magician's Nephew is not a good one to start with.
Many years ago, I was also like confused about where do I start, and that was probably information
published
that I was
order,
given,
100%.
and it was boring, and I didn't understand what was happening. So now I need to go back and start over. And
I love the Chronicles of Narnia. It's so good.
Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe was cool. Like,
it's so good, and none of the movies have gotten close to doing that one justice. Like, not even a little bit. I also love Lord of the Rings. I should put that into my list of books, but I haven't read it nearly as much as I've read Narnia. No, I prefer Narnia, but yeah, they're both excellent. And of course, the authors were also very good pals. J.R.R. Tolkien is actually credited is probably the reason C.S. Lewis became a Christian in the first place, which is the majority of C.S. Lewis's literature is Christian oriented, even though Chronicles of Narnia aren't. They're very heavily influenced by it, as you can tell. But yeah, he was an atheist before he met J.R.R. Tolkien, and Tolkien helped.
I didn't know that J.R.R. Tolkien was religious at all.
Very strongly and deeply so. And when you know that,
and you start like I don't have a lot of context for Lord of the Rings. I just know it as like the film series and the book series, but I haven't like deep dived.
It has a lot of the kind of like he's very against any sort of allegorical reading of it, but you can if you have a deep understanding of Christianity, not the American version, I should point out, stupid evangelical bullcrap, but like the actual underpinnings, like you can feel some of the themes in the Lord of the Rings of redemption and all that stuff that are in there. But yeah, Tolkien is very strongly against any sort of allegorical reading of it. But it comes as someone who it's such a deep part of his being, like it comes through in his work. Like my art, like when I actually sit and do like actual art, my Christianity and that worldview they have to come through because it's such a deep part of who I am. But like I would similarly argue there's nothing Christian about that, but like the worldview is present, and I should this is an elephant in the room I definitely have to bring up. Yes, I have mentioned that I have a husband and I am a Christian because I actually read the Bible and study it and don't just listen to what angry preachers yelling on street corners say. And I don't believe the Bible has anything to say against it when correctly translated. We do not need to get into that topic because it's a very big one, but I figured I should clear that up real quick. But as speaking of others of my hobbies, since this is a talk about hobbies, like I play the drums, full drum kit, but also random ancillary percussion-y things, shakers and congas and bongos and djembes and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And for about 10 years, I was in a Christian, a worship band at a church. Like I was on stage every Sunday, doing singing harmony and playing percussion-y things. So that's another thing I do. I like to sing harmony. I don't like to sing lead. I just don't like to. I like to sing harmony. It's more interesting to me.
Will you also back somebody up in karaoke in that way?
Oh, 100%. If I know the song. But the problem is, growing up in the conservative Christian circles I grew up in, I'm not familiar enough with a lot of the more popular secular music of the eras. So most famous karaoke songs I don't know well enough to sing harmony to. Because to sing harmony, you have to know the melody well enough to sing other notes that go with it. Mm-hmm. Like, so there's some songs I can sing melody to kind of if I'm with other people that I can't sing harmony to because I don't know melody enough to play off of it.
That's right. Sense. Sabrina will send you a set list.
No, but I can't NoGraph. Like I sang, oh my gosh, what's that song? Not Let It Go, but the Let It Go of the sequel. Not show yourself. Even though that one's, I love that one. Oh my gosh, it's the first one she sings. Into the End.
Oh yeah.
I didn't watch Frozen 2.
I only saw it once. Yeah.
I get mad about Frozen.
You get mad about it?
I didn't like it when it came out.
Oh wow.
And I kind of still don't. But
sorry, Into the Unknown.
Into the Unknown.
If you had, I don't know when I dropped out, but Into the Unknown, I sang that at Camp NoGraph at karaoke one year. So I will sing lead sometimes, but.
Oh, that's great.
I love it. That's great.
No, I definitely prefer singing harmony. Bluegrass, I very much love bluegrass since we're talking about things. Bluegrass music, classic bluegrass, but sometimes some of the new stuff as well, like bluegrass. I do like some Christian artists in like rock and rap genres, EDM, like Capital Kings. I like them. I like for King and Country sometimes a little bit occasionally. Skillet in the more harder rock versions of stuff.
I like the name Skillet as opposed to Skrillex or something.
Skillet's awesome. The lead singer is the guy who plays a guitar-y sort of instrument, but then the main other singer is a girl who plays the drums, which is awesome. And they'll often incorporate string instruments into their songs and their concerts. So it's pretty cool. I like them. Awesome.
They sound more and more like the Arcade Fire. Like they'll just suddenly become like a 12-piece.
They missed the chance at Cast Iron Skrillex.
That would have been great.
Wait, actually, because you brought up bluegrass, I hope you don't mind.
Yes.
So I love bluegrass and Americana music. But one of the first times I really experienced it in a way that was like meaningful to me was back when I lived in Savannah, Georgia. I visited a friend.
Love Savannah, Georgia.
Yay,
it's the best. One of my favorite cities.
It's the best. And but I had a friend who was from Nashville, and I stopped by a couple times to visit her. I think she was actually like Murfreesboro or something. But like, we would meet up in
Nashville
town.
Adjacent.
Yeah, and she's like, "Oh, you're coming through? Well, let's meet up at this bar." And it was like the downstairs of the bar was a bunch of like picnic tables, and it was like a little like jam session where people just showed up with like fiddles and guitars and mandolins and whatever. And it was just like as people came in, and then we just were like sitting there. And she's like, "Yeah, this is like every Wednesday," or whatever it was. And I'd never experienced that before. I mean, that happens here in Austin. I'm since aware of it, but that was like, I want to say like 2001 or something like that. And it blew my mind. It totally changed my view of that sort of genre.
Oh, bluegrass is one of those things where it's so much better live. It's so much better live.
I like it also on recorded. I mean, but it is really good live. Oh, and one of the best shows I ever went to in New York, my brother took me to Jewgrass. Have you ever heard of
Yes.
it was this Hasidic fellow who played mandolin, and he was playing with a bluegrass band, and it was the most amazing thing I've ever seen.
Well, they know how to party, so I'd believe
And
it.
that's what it's called. Jewgrass. It was amazing. So good.
Wait, was that also many years ago? Because I want to check this out.
Yes, I want to say that was at oh no, yeah, like 12 years ago or something like that.
I will say living in Nashville has made me, I wouldn't say music snob, but like I have accidentally said snobby things. Like I'll be in a bar in some other city, like hanging out with friends, and the person doing the live music messes up. I'll be like, ugh, or like, just like I mean, not even messes up, but like is off just a tiny bit. I'm like, ugh, just I'm like, oh, like I don't mean to. Like it was an accident, because in Nashville, everybody who's playing in a bar is amazing.
Yeah,
because if you're not, they'll get someone who is, because everyone who wants to do music is in either Nashville or LA, and Nashville has a much bigger live scene than Nashville does, or than LA does. So everyone who wants to play live music, they're in Nashville. So if you're not amazing, they'll get someone who is. So everyone's great. So but I didn't really go out to bars a lot, because again, I went to this Christian college that didn't let you drink, and I didn't drink till I was 22 or 23. Like, so I'm not used to bars. So when I moved to Nashville right after college, like most of my bar experiences have been hanging out in Nashville, where everyone is amazing. So I go to normal places with normal people, and they mess up. I'm like, because I'm just so used to perfection, or not perfection, but musical
incredible music.
Yeah.
Who amongst us has not had a case of foot and mouth disease in those? Like, who amongst us? We've all done it before.
I'm not great. If I were doing it, I wouldn't do as good as this person's doing, but it's still like I accidentally go, oh, because
it's
just
like a reflexive,
unexpected.
like, I don't know about that sound, you know. That was a wrong note there. Noted.
Trust me, I have done plenty of wrong notes in my time. Especially when I try to sing into the unknown at Camp NoGraph after 3 days of camp, my my voice is completely gone from talking all the time.
You tried, and that's what counts.
I picture you hit the wrong note, and then you do yourself with.
You're like,
oh yeah. No, I'm a professional. I've been on stage since a young child. I know how to handle. Oh, okay. You just carry on. The show must go on.
Yeah.
You never.
You barrel through. You're like a cat getting caught doing something. They're like, "What?"
I meant to fall off the top of that door.
Right.
That was to add interest.
Yeah.
Cats are so funny when they make a mistake. They so play it off like they meant to do it every time. Cats are the worst.
I'm like that too, even when I'm alone in my house. And like, I think the other day I dropped something and I was totally like in the zone, but then something happened and I was like, oh, like it totally threw off my groove. I was like, I'm human.
Also,
I forgot.
Also, one of my top favorite movies would be The Emperor's New Groove. I love that one.
Such a good Disney movie.
That's a good one.
There's so many different like little subtle things in it too. Like I think I just appreciate a movie where the people have clearly spent a lot of time working on it and a lot of love has gone into it. Yeah, like there's just so many subtle things in that movie that you don't really necessarily get until you've watched it a bunch of times. Mm-hmm. I think I just appreciate craft. I think that's what it is. Like if someone spent a lot of time and effort and is good at making the thing, I think that's what I appreciate about something.
I think you're just now already transitioning into the tying everything together with that snippet. I mean, is that not it? It's like, I think
that's a good time. I appreciate craft. It's true. And
from everything you've mentioned, drinks to food to music to all these things, that is a tie. Good.
See what I mean? We discover it as we go.
I'm not picky about food. I just want to eat good food. Like I'll go to an amazing Indian restaurant. I'll go to an amazing Mexican restaurant. I'll go to an amazing whatever it is. I just want people to care about what they make. And the same thing. Speaking of making drinks and cooking myself, I take a limited set of ingredients and I like to make something good with it. Also ties into NoGraph. Mm-hmm. When you're given a job by a client, you have colors you have to use. You have colors you have to use. You have logos you have to use. Sometimes you're given audio and video that might not be the greatest, but you only have a limited set of ingredients that you can use on something. Mm-hmm. Make the best thing that you can with those ingredients that you're given. Same thing with cooking. Same thing with cocktails. You just take what you've got and do the best you can with it. It's a good life lesson. Not even NoGraph. It's just a good life lesson. It's a bloom where you're planted kind of thing. Like you don't have $1 billion and all the time in the world. So take the time you have, the resources you have, and do what you can with it. I'm not, on a roller coaster having fun right now, but I can have fun chatting with good friends. Just whatever you can do it and enjoy it. Which, again, tying back to my Christian upbringing, there's a verse in Ecclesiastes that says, "Whatever your hand finds to do it with all your heart." And I think that's a
Aw.
good life lesson in general. So, like when I'm doing MoGraph or VFX stuff, I do it as best I can with the resources that I have and the time that I'm given. So I think that's a good tie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
from the mouth of the creative cow himself.
creative cow.
I really like
Ah,
that, Michael. Thank you for sharing that, and thank you for sharing all of your hobbies and interests. And I have such a long list of like new cocktails I want to try, and definitely want to get my hands on some maple syrup cotton candy. That
Oh my
sounds
gosh, if you can
incredible.
find it, it's amazing.
Mm, yeah.
I love it. I don't. How would you get your hands on that? That feels like a thing that
I
you gotta
honestly
get
don't
from the
know.
person.
I honestly don't know. I've never seen it before. He showed up with it, and we're like, yes, please. So I'm sure there's companies out there that will mail it out to you. But
Oh
I,
yeah.
I will say, once you open the container, you've got a very limited amount of time to eat it because once air and moisture hit it, it's gonna start going away. So it's not measured in days the amount of time you can wait, but
Mm,
Right.
shouldn't be too hard just to eat it.
yeah. Just like a good
Uh,
keyframe. Once it's done, you just send it and get it out of
Send
here.
it.
Get it
Send it.
fresh while
It's
it's hot.
done.
Yep.
all right. This has been super fun. I feel like we could keep going on a million of these things, but thank you, Michael, for joining us. This has been a great episode.
Yeah.
It's maybe the most successful tie-in that we've
Yeah.
had. That
I
is
think so. That was
that
very
was great.
natural. Um,
Yeah.
so I know we can find you on the Adobe forums and Creative Cow, but where else can we find you, Michael?
You can find me on my website is slamproductions.com. I don't update it very much because I'm so busy with full-time job and then occasional freelance work. I don't have time to put a new reel together or anything, but I'm there. You can find me on the After Effects subreddit sometimes. I'm on the Motion Design Artists Slack. I'm on the mograph.com Slack. I'm in a bunch of different Discords. I'm in the Rocket Lasso Slack. I'm very online. If you at Red Giant on social media, you'll probably talk to me as well because part of my job of showing off Red Giant stuff is I do a lot of the social media stuff for Red Giant for Maxon for Red Giant stuff. And if you happen to use Red Giant tools at all, if you got a Red Giant subscription or Maxon One subscription, make sure you follow Red Giant on social media because almost every Tuesday, I put out 2 tips. So if you search for hashtag Tip Tuesday on any of the Red Giant social media channels, you'll see several years worth of tips where I'm showing you off like maybe some hidden things you didn't know it could do or some little workflow things. Because as I've mentioned at the beginning, I love Red Giant tools and I've been using them for a very long time, even before some of them were owned by Red Giant. Like I used Trapco particular since it was just Peter Norby making stuff in his garage or wherever he coded. But yes, you can
That's
find me
awesome.
in all of those places.
Perfect.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Well, time to render it and send it.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody. We'll
Bye
see you on the
everyone.
next episode.
Yeah.
Bye.
Take care.